Hello, my name is Karim Bael. I am an anthropologist at the Universidad Austral de Chile. I'm in charge of the Natural Cultural Heritage at the Wetland Center of this university. We feel very happy and pleased to be selected to represent at the Best in Heritage this coming September. And we are also very proud to have the chance to show how applied investigation can be useful for define and contribute to new policymakers at the level of heritage in a global way. The main contribution that the university did for this project in their own way was to put in value the relevance of the participation of the community in between the decisions that are related with their heritage and museums. Community-based museums, especially in this region, Latin America and Caribbean, has been relevant to create places where minorities, isolated communities, or even human rights group of people has been violated, to be part of their own activities and places to redefine and construct their future. Thank you for this really great chance.
Hola, mi nombre es Amalia Castelli. Yo he formado parte del equipo de la Unión Europea para trabajar el proyecto LAC, que se desarrolló en la región norte de nuestro país. Participamos a través de la Universidad Católica, la Universidad Santo Toribio de Lambayeque y los museos que participaron también en el proyecto fueron los museos de Tucumé, Sicán, Chanchan y Huacas de Moche. Nuestra propuesta estuvo destinada a desarrollar incentivos y sobre todo participación comunitaria en relación a la valoración del territorio y del patrimonio, a reconocer los saberes y las tradiciones culturales y sobre todo a incorporar a la comunidad a proyectos en los cuales tuviesen la posibilidad de desarrollar económicamente en la realidad. Nuestro proyecto fue muy exitoso y los resultados los podemos ver en el desarrollo y las posibilidades que tienen las comunidades en este momento. Gracias.
Hello from Costa Rica. My name is Ronald Martinez Villarreal. I'm working in the Regional and Community Museums program of the National Museum of Costa Rica. We are so happy for the selection of the LAC Museums project at Best in Heritage event. This represents the recognition of the community museums activities like exchange and workshops developed by the young people and the opportunity to strengthen participatory cultural heritage. Also, we believe in a trainer and facilitator role of the institutions and the academy. This support has been possible with the collaboration of our European partners. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Mario Antas and I was the coordinator of the Portuguese team in the LAC Museums project. For me it was such an honor to be part of this great team. This project was very important in the development of the knowledge about museums and especially about the community museums in Portugal. Thanks to this project it was possible to understand better the community museums in Portugal, and we also produced this printed book that provides all the researchers and all museum professionals the opportunity to understand what happens in this reality in Portugal. So for me, LAC project was a step forward in the knowledge on the museum field in order to bring us together to our communities and in order to give us the opportunity to know better the communities and the heritage of these communities. In such a days like today, we see what happened in the world and we see the importance of our heritage in a way to approach people around the world. So this is our legacy as museum professionals, and to understand better history is to understand and to respect better the other persons and the other communities as well. To be nominated for Best in Heritage is also an honor for all the members of the LAC project, because it's to be part of a great community and to be recognized by museum professionals and such important institutions like ICOM, International Council of Museums, and Europa Nostra. So, in my humble opinion, LAC Museums project deserves to be recognized by all the museum communities around the world, because it was a big project, not only big with the quantity of researchers involved, but also big because approach museums and communities from Europe to South America and to Caribbean area, and allow us to understand better not only our heritage, but understand better our history and to approach all the people in the world. So this is the importance of LAC projects, and I hope that everybody understands that in the world like we live in today, we need to be approach people, because we have only one community and we are all part of that.
So, welcome to the Best in Heritage, the videos, and I'm so glad you're all here. So I have with me Karen Brown from Scotland, Alessandra Cummings from Barbados, and Karen Weil from Chile. So the project is EU-LAC Museums, Communities, Sustainability in Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean. and it received Elucidare Special Prize 2021. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and answer our first question, which is briefly describing your project and a little bit of the history of it and what objectives you had.
Yeah, happy to kick off. So
Great.
Firstly, thank you very much on behalf of the entire consortium. Thank you very much to you, Daphne, and to the Best in Heritage, and also to the Elucidare Europa Nostra European Heritage Award that we received recently. We're absolutely delighted to be recognised in this way. So I'd like to just start with that. So I'm Karen Brown. I was the coordinator of EU-LAC museums based in the University of St Andrews in Scotland. This was a Horizon 2020 project that brought together 8 international partners from Scotland, Spain, Portugal, Chile, Peru, the Anglophone Caribbean, and also ICOM, the International Council of Museums. And together we made a comparative analysis of small remote museums and their communities in the European, Latin American and Caribbean regions, and developed associated history and theory. So this was essentially a research project, but with a very practical focus. The idea at large was to allow underrepresented communities to stake a place in history, tell their stories, and contribute to sustainability and community empowerment in their own contexts. It originated basically from ICOM Europe. A call came out from Horizon 2020 to look at the cultural, social dimensions of EU-LAC relations. And ICOM Europe approached ICOM LAC, our sister regional alliance, to think about forming a network, to forming a consortium between our 2 regions. So that's really how it began. And the rest is history, so they say, and that's how our network was formed essentially, and how we progressed.
Thank you. Great. Well, my next question is, in your view, what do you think impressed the Elucidare Special Prize jury? What specific qualities or innovations that your project had?
Right. Well, I think they understood the value of what we were providing through our new investigations, our new approaches to the work of a museum, but in a community context. We were particularly engaged, for example, with small communities in Europe and in Latin America and the Caribbean, and demonstrated how museums could best be utilized in developing co-curation and co-creation projects that satisfy the needs of local communities. In this respect, also, I think Elucidare particularly welcomed the fact that we were working both in an international and an interdisciplinary context. And so we were not bound by strict themes, but looked across themes. For example, in my case, we were looking at gender and migration, as well as intermingling with youth. We were looking at intergenerational transfers of knowledge. We particularly valued and respected intangible heritage in the context of museums, which again is a very different approach to many of the ways in which museums are thought of by policymakers. So I think we did a rather important project that put into place demonstrably the ways in which an international network can share cultural values through the management and care of our monuments, our museums, and our people. And this in a context of growing uncertainty around COVID, amongst other things.
What sort of difficulties or positive experiences did you come across during this project realization? So perhaps a more personal, it's such a huge project that it'd be interesting to speak also more personally about this.
I am Karin Weil. I'm anthropologist from the Universidad Austral de Chile. I live in the south of Chile, and I was part of the consortium being the principal investigator of the Chilean team. So perhaps rather than talking about difficulties and positive experience, I would like to talk more about the challenge we face as an intercultural team.
Yep.
First, the gaps between the different languages, which certainly represent cultural diversity and also differences and in backgrounds. Another challenge was to generate the necessary trust to make the project a reality and to overcome as a team each of the difficulties that arose, which were not few. Floods in Peru, tornadoes or hurricanes in Costa Rica, social unrest in Chile, and after that, to the end, the COVID pandemic. So I think it was a really good timing, but it has been a very enriching experience. We grew professionally. We had the opportunity to meet and learn, improving our own experiences and contribute to others. And I think this was a great experience and something that is going to last us forever somehow.
Looking at your project, how the influence that came from Latin America and the Caribbean towards Europe, I found quite interesting. I don't know who wants to address that one. Okay.
I believe that one of the main strengths of the work we do in Latin America and also in the Caribbean is the participation, the active participation of the community in the decision-making and management of their heritage, the commitment and passion that one puts on the projects and the spaces for the construction of local shared meanings, I think is something that we experienced that was our power somehow. And also the shared histories about colonization, minority, and probably social question.
In the course of your work, I think you were quite influential in changing the definition of museums from ICOM. And I'm curious what was lacking as the original definition for you, and what your efforts were to try and get that changed, what it means for you as a team.
Well, I think that what came through in the work of the project was that we were not bound by the sense of what a museum had been or had been prescribed to be over decades in a particular European context. Rather, we took on board considerations of the social responsibility and activism of a museum in a community context, and demonstrated that the work that was done in an intercultural dialogue and positionality was incredibly important in ensuring trust and interaction amongst different groups. So there were a number of points where we exchanged dialogue, where youth was involved. We had exchanges of youth between Europe and Latin America, and this was very important in terms of developing keen awareness and greater responsibility and value for intercultural dialogue. I think that ways in which there could be critical importance was, first of all, in safeguarding the living heritage to be transferred between generations, but also we showed that the climate impacts on our populations, on particularly vulnerable populations, really relied on important educational content and exchange. And this came across, I think, very, very powerfully through Caribbean museums and through Latin American museums to Europe. I think this was important in terms of securing the Elucidare Prize, because they were able to see how civil society was able to make best use of a social entity like museums.
Well, I think we're talking about museums not just being about the past, but being about the present and the future.
Exactly, being about the present and the future. Again, a particularly important point, because, in the past, people felt tied to an institution that demonstrated the historical past, when in fact, through a LAC museum project, we were able to demonstrate how a museum could interact now and for the benefit of populations who were going through different changes, who were investigating different issues, and who were wanting to share knowledge and improve the conditions of living in a population or in a particular environment, which could be impacted by climate change and through other traumas that required ongoing dialogue and debate.
Thank you very much. And a wonderful project, wonderful communal effort, and in fact, international effort. It's really, really wonderful. And it certainly had me rethinking the whole concept of museum that was quite dusty, actually. So it's fantastic. Thank you very, very much for all gathering here. And congratulations again. Thank you.